first, I want to start with pimping relationship coaches. And I want to talk about this thing from two different perspectives. I want to talk about relationship marriage coaches and counselors that are pimping people. And then I want to talk about how we as relationship coaches and marriage counselors get pimped. And I want to put you up on game. If you are coaching or counseling relationships, if you're coaching or counseling relationships, you better pay attention to how people are pimping us out here. Okay. But also, if you are seeking a coach or you are seeking a counselor for your relationship or your marriage, you better be paying attention about how you can get pimped. So let me start with how the people are getting pimped. Let me tell you how relationship and marriage coaches and counselors are getting pimped or pimping people. If you see it, you probably saw my post a little bit earlier where I played a song by Derek Minor. I bet he lying. I bet she lying. Whoever it is, they lying. If you have a coach, because usually when you come to coaches, a lot of people who have to come to coaches or counselors, they are in crises. And unfortunately, a lot of people who come to coaches and counselors are not only in crises, but they're still lazy, even though they're in crises. And so they are looking for magic. And you have a lot of some relationship coaches and counselors out here that are promising magic. They are promising to you that I can guarantee I can fix your marriage. And that's typically the language they're going to use. I can guarantee you I can fix your relationship. I can guarantee it. All right. When you hear the word guarantee, run. They are lying to you. I bet they lying. I bet they lie, right? Because that's a pimp move. People already realize you're in distress. That's how sometimes pimps get young ladies into the game. Is they get them in the game because they already know they're runaway. They're in distress. They don't have a way to feed and take care of themselves, and they come in as a friend and they guarantee them that they can help them, but they don't realize that, yeah, they can help them, but when they're talking about helping them, they're helping them in a way that benefits them more. If they are guarantee you that they can heal or fix your relationship or marriage, run. Because here's why I say that. No one can make that guarantee. Even God doesn't make that guarantee. Oh, what? God's all powerful. He still doesn't make that guarantee. Let me give you a little bit of scripture. Let me give you some scripture. He said, if my people who are called by my name would turn from their wicked ways, cry out to me, then I will hear them and heal their land, right? Watch this. They had to do something. In order for God to heal the land, he said they had to turn and they had to cry out, right? Then he would heal their land. If the omnipotent, the powerful God of all of the universe says that you got to do something in order for him to be able to intervene and heal your land, what makes you think that you're going to walk into this counselor or coach's business and they're going to say, I got this magic program for you, and this program is going to fix your marriage? It's going to heal your marriage. No, if they can give you the program, and listen, let me be crystal clear. Their program may be fire if you follow it. Their program may be fire if you do the actual work. Here's the thing though about even doing the actual work in their program being fire. I don't want to see your marriage fixed. Sure don't. As a relationship professional speaker and coach, I do not want to see your marriage fixed. I don't want to see your marriage saved. Nope, sure don't. Don't want to see your marriage saved. I want to see your marriage healed. You know why I want to see your marriage healed? When you fix something, it's almost an instant thing. And in some ways, it's as if the problem never existed except for a few bumps and bruises in memories, right? If I go have a water pump that goes bad in my car and I go fix it, as soon as I throw on the new part, there are no more issues with overheating. I fixed it. But when you heal something, it's got scars, it's got reminders. There's a memorial of the injury. And I was talking to a friend. Ooh, this is so good. I was talking to a friend. I said, I've always asked the question and asked it for myself. It's like, how do you know when healing is complete? Watch this. Watch this. Um, if you look real close, and you might not be able to see it on the camera, I have a scar across my nose, right? Now, I got that scar when I was a baby. I don't even remember it. Better yet, I got a scar on my ankle from where my foot got caught in a 10 speed for it while I was on the back of my cousin's 10 speed. I remember that one. Here's how you know healing is complete. I can look at that scar. I can remember how the scar got there, but I suffer no ill effects mentally or physically because that scar is still there. It doesn't take me back when that scar is still there. When I look at that scar, I don't all of a sudden have a panic attack. I don't freeze up. I don't get upset. I don't get anything. I don't start questioning, asking why. It's like, oh, I remember what happened there. I know one thing, never to ride on the back of a bicycle where you don't have nowhere to put your feet at again. That's it. That's how you know the healing is complete. A lot of people do come in for coaching and counseling and they want an erasure of the scars, and it don't work like that. And anyone who is promising to fix your marriage, that's basically what they're promising you. Now, there may be somebody who will watch this video and they're going to come back with a rebuttal video. That's fine. If you come back with a rebuttal video based on this video, do me a favor. Hit me up and let's have an online discussion about it. Hit me up and let's have an online discussion about it. I'm talking about productive. Maybe you'll help me understand something differently. Maybe I'll help you understand something differently. But don't snipe at me from behind the comment section. Don't snipe at me from some videos and you don't want to just come have a discussion. Let's talk about it because I am out here about the whole reason the relationship GPT exists is because I'm out here and I want to see relationships and marriages heal. Had somebody ask me the other day, what does it mean, the relationship GPT, and upset the algorithm? Because at the bottom of my sweatshirt, it says upset the algorithm. You will not see anyone else wearing this. If they do, they done hijacked me. They stole it because there is one relationship GPT. That is me, right? This is not for sale. This is the brand, but upset the algorithm. What does it mean to upset the algorithm? Upsetting the algorithm is this. It's time that marriage needs a reset because marriage is so out of order. But if we don't get relationships in the dating phase lined up and ready to go, marriages have no hope because what's happening is all of the toxic behaviors that's happening in marriage, in relationships during the dating phase is leaking over into marriage. Then it makes marriage look bad because the people who got married, either one, should have never got married, two, weren't ready for marriage. Maybe they should have got married, but they weren't ready for it because they didn't sit down and talk to somebody and get an understanding, get past the fairy tale. Or three, right? They shouldn't have got married. They shouldn't have got married without talking to somebody. Or number three, they shouldn't have got a divorce before talking to somebody because they took all that toxic stuff over there with them. Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Marriage needs a reset and it starts at how we do relationships. But now let me talk about how relationship coaches and counselors get pimped. Oh, I had this happen to me a few times. When I caught in, I changed up how I was doing the game. And a lot of times it was men more than women who pulled this move, but I had a couple of women do it too. This is how relationship coaches and counselors get pimped. You'll have someone who seems sincere about wanting coaching and counseling, and they will say a lot of the right things. But if you start paying close attention to where they place the blame. When you start paying close attention when they say things, here's one of those things that they might say. They'll say something like, you know, I know I need to work on some things, but right? You killed everything. Because everything else that you're about to say is what you really wanted to say first, but you were trying to do some false humility. So what ends up happening is people will come to you and get tips from you on how to be a better wife, how to be a better husband. But that's so that they're actually asking you to play like you Sephora or what's the other makeup place? Um, Mac. They want you to come in there and do that. They want you to come in and they want you to help them put on some makeup so that they look like the ideal husband and they look like the ideal wife, but it's really just a mask. That's how they pimp you. They're trying to get you to show them how to be the ideal husband or wife without actually doing the work of becoming a better person. You'll see a post I put out there earlier today. You cannot be to be a better husband, you have to first be a better man. To be a better wife, you have to first be a better person. If you are not, oh, I love CJ Quinney from Next Level Speakers Academy. He said, listen, you have to become the right person. If you want anything to work, you have to first be the right person. The problem that a lot of people have, not only in their relationships, but in life, you're trying to do the right thing while being the wrong person. Come on. Damon, you want to say that again? Yes, I do. You are trying to do the right thing while being the wrong person. So you're trying to be a good husband, but you're not a good man. You're trying to be a good wife, but you're not a good woman. You're trying to be a better girlfriend, but you're not a better woman. You're trying to be a better boyfriend, but you're not a better man. You're trying to do the right thing while being the wrong person. Yeah, I'm put that on a t-shirt. You cannot do the right thing while being the wrong person. That and that's how we as coaches get pimped because sometimes they're trying to get you, they're trying to get you to be the person that tells them how to basically manipulate their spouse into believing that they've changed. Doesn't work like that. I had someone approach me one time and they wanted to do some husband coaching. If you know anything about me, you watch enough of me and you follow me enough, you know that I'm really, really hard on us as men because of the position and authority that I believe that God has given us. And I told him, like, I listened to him for about 30 minutes, and most of what I heard was about the wife, the wife, the wife, the wife, the wife, the wife, the wife. And I was like, hey, man, I'm happy to do a coaching counseling session, which I said, I was traveling. I said, let me get back with you. I'll get you a price or whatever. Oh, while we're talking about prices, yesterday's price ain't tomorrow's price. Things going up because we done figured some stuff out about what people are willing to invest in. So here's the thing. So I'm talking to this brother, and I just said this on the real. I said, listen, if you are going to, if you're really going to be if you want to do husband coaching with me, you want me to personally coach you from a husband's perspective, I'm gonna tell you this: if we do 10 sessions, 9 of them gonna be about you. Only one of them gonna be about your wife. So I'm gonna send you the quote. You tell me what you want to do. I ain't never hear back from them. Why? Because they was trying to pimp. They was trying to pimp me. You want me to tell you how to fix your wife, or for your wife to feel a certain? No, I need to make sure you're a better man. I need to make sure you're a better man. So that's how we get pimp. Relationship coaches and counselors, please don't fall for it. Don't let people try and help you help them become a better man. First thing you need to do is figure out. Don't let them pimp you into trying to make them help them become a better husband when they have not become a better man, or help them become a better wife when they have not become a better woman. I just want you to understand that. All right. Um, let me move to the second thought or topic tonight because I ain't gonna keep y'all long. I just want to drop you some hot knowledge and get up out of here. Next thing is I want to ask a different question about the table. So here's a question that's out there in the relationship streets, and I'm trying to upset the algorithm, and I'm trying to change this thing. And here's what we're talking: some things that are in the street. Hey, what's going on, real GT man? And what's going on, my covenant friend? How y'all doing? Um, this is what I want to be able to drop out there, just real quick on this. There's in the relationship world, there's this whole discussion about what do you bring to the table? And I've had this discussion. My spiritual mom is on here right now, and we've talked about this on healthy relationships about, like, for a man doesn't really care what a woman brings to the table for the most part, not the way that women think of what a man expects her to bring to the table. But this is what how we I think we need to ask a different question. So when these couples are getting together, and even some people who are even married have a what do you bring to the table mentality in the midst of their marriage, I think there's a different question that needs to be asked. And that question is this: it's not what do you bring to the table? The question you really need to ask is how will you make me better? How will you being in my life make me better? That's the real question. And the answer to that question needs to be intangible things. It can't be tangible stuff. Because if it's tangible stuff, again, I'll go back to the good book. Good book says that all that stuff gonna fade away. It's gonna rust and corrode. Only the intangible, the spirit, isn't gonna do that. So it needs to be intangible things. How will you make me better? Listen up, dating people, married people. If you don't know the answer to this question in your marriage, you got a problem. If you out here single and looking for somebody and you don't know how to ask that question and have that conversation and be able to answer that question, you got a problem. How will you make me better? How will we make each other better being together? And if the answers are dominated by tangible things, that's the wrong answer to the right question. All right. So that's two times. Like I told you earlier, you can't be doing the right thing as the wrong person. Can't do that. But you also can't answer the right question with the wrong answer. It gets you nowhere. All right. So we need to change that narrative and move away from what we need to move away from what do you bring to the table and move towards how do you make me better. Listen, I got two more parts to this, and if you want to ask a question, you can drop it in the comments. I'll answer it. If you feeling bold and froggy and want to join me on the camera when I get past this last one, you can feel free to hit that request to come on camera, and we can add. It's coming on camera for the purpose of asking a question, and we can have some discussion around that question. All right, let's go with this. Um, let's talk about the third topic that I wanted to hit tonight, which is the hard to answer value question. Me and my wife was talking about this recently, and I've had this conversation with several people, men and women, and it's always been interesting to me because I didn't find what I thought I would find. The question that I ask is, why do you value your spouse? Why do you value your spouse? And this question should be asked even while dating before you ever talk about getting married. Why do you value that person? The surprise that I got in this is that more men were able to articulate why their wife makes them why they value their wife more than wives were able to do that. Everyone gave an answer for the most part, but most of the answers from men were intangible answers. Goes back to the previous thing I just talked about. The men talked about how their wives made them better from things that you can't buy with money. You can't go to a doctor and make happen. That's what the men talked about. But the women talked about all of the tangible things. And I'm not saying that some of the tangible things are not important, that they're a good father and they're a good provider. Those things are important. Here's the challenge with it, though. Here's the challenge. If your answers are all tangible, what happens when the tangible things cease to exist? I want you to think about that. This goes back to that changing the conversation on the table and coming down, bringing it a little bit closer. What exactly will you do when they can no longer be that provider or something happens and there's a season where they're not that good provider? What will you do? What will do when they have a season of bad parenting moments, what will you do? All of those things are tangible. Again, not saying they're not important, but all those things are tangible. How will you handle seasons of drought in your relationship? Because drought is a tangible thing. Drought is the absence of water. How will you handle seasons of drought in your relationships? I want to understand that. How will you? Just let that sit with you for a minute. Because I'd imagine if you've been married, you probably handled some of your seasons of drought in a very bad way. And it's probably still wearing on your marriage. Some of you have lost relationships because you handled seasons of drought in the wrong way. How will you deal with the droughts? I think back to a story in the Bible when they were cut off, surrounded by the enemy, and they start negotiating, eating each other's children. And one mother ate; they agreed to kill her child and eat the child, and the next day they were going to kill the other child and eat that child. And when it came time to return the favor, the other mother's like, "Nah, we ain't doing that." They were struggling on how to handle the drought, how to handle the famine. I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't mean it to be controversial, and I want to go and dig in, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it first. I believe that the love languages, and I've had a chance to meet Gary Chapman, and I think it's good information. But I think the way that we use the five love languages has made people lazy. People have taken the five love languages and used them as some type of magic potion, this magic cure all. You don't speak my love language, and all of a sudden I'm done because you can't speak my love language. It's interesting to me because I think about how I learned English as a child. As I grew up and I learned English as a child, it took a while for me to master the language. It took a while for me to master the language of English. So trying to master the language of love, and here's the real nonsense about it. Trying to master the language of human love. Because we ain't talking about God love, because if we were talking about God love, there's some ways that God loves us that we don't like, if we being honest. But we accept it because we trust him to be this all wise, all knowing father in our lives. We trust him to be that. So if you're not trusting your spouse's way of loving you, and I'm not talking about trying to love you from what's easy and convenient and selfish for them. I'm talking about trusting your spouse to love you in the way that you need it, not necessarily all the way you want it, because the love languages are really about how you want to be loved. But how we want to be loved isn't always how we need to be loved. What? What? If Peter could have chosen how Jesus was going to love him, Jesus would have never went to the cross. Because to Peter, in that moment, that felt unloving. What? What you say now? Yeah, yeah. That's the reality. God loves us in a way that we need to be loved. He chastens those who he loves. So if I wanted, I wouldn't want to necessarily, I never wanted to get a whooping. Never. Never that I say, oh, yes, mama, please whoop me because I want to know that you really, really love me. If you're doing that, you got something psychologically off. I can remember dating a young lady before, and she told me, because my go-to move was, when I was done with, I just hush. I ignore you. I hang up the phone. I ain't want to hear none of that nonsense. That's my go-to move. And I had one young lady I dated that told me, I'd rather you hit me than ignore me. And I had another one tell me, say, you must don't love me because you don't hit me. Because she had been in that type of relationship, like, nah, baby, if I ain't gonna hit you because I love you. So ain't nobody asking to be hit, but yet God says he chastens those whom he loves. Because that's part of how we need to be loved. So are you upset with your spouse because they're not loving you the way you want to be loved? Or are you upset with them because they're not loving you the way you need to be loved? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because when we start talking about this thing about the value question, I want you to really get down to, why do I value this person? These intangible things. A lot of people end up in bad relationships. Hey, here's some game for the dating and the single, because y'all go after what you want instead of what you need. And the reason you do that is because you don't even know what you need. You hadn't really sat with yourself to know enough about yourself to know what you need. I had a conversation with an older lady one time, and she was sharing with me conversation I didn't necessarily want to have, but it is a conversation nonetheless. That, her and her husband, she didn't know how to tell him what to do to her in the bedroom, or what she liked, because she didn't know what she liked, because she grew up in an era where women weren't taught to explore and know their bodies. So she couldn't tell him necessarily what to do or how she wanted something done. So he guessing, she frustrated, and ain't nobody getting nowhere because they ain't take the time. Because if I might take a detour, when it comes to sex, explore and learn. But you have not an O because you ask not to get an O. I'll let the grown folks figure that out. You got to know what you need and what you want. Far too many people faking it in the bedroom, and it's tearing their marriages up. That's just the real. All right. Let me get to this personal story. Then, if you got questions or you want to jump on and ask a question, we can work through it together. We're gonna do that. So here's where we at. So I'm gonna tell you where I'm at in my season of my life as being a husband. Being a husband right now, where I'm at is, I am focusing on becoming a better man. I don't care how great anyone else, including my wife, thinks I am as a husband. I am seeing things that I need to work on to become a better man. Two of those areas, I'm working on are discipline and integrity. I realized something recently. We look at integrity as a person who's a liar. By definition, the word integrity basically means being one with your words. So letting your words come out and letting your words align with your actions. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And there are times where I have the best of intentions of following through on something, but I don't do it. That's a lack of integrity. Doesn't matter how well my intentions, doesn't matter how understanding the person or the thing was, in flexibility for me doing, if I don't complete what I said I was going to do, or go and have an adult conversation and recalibrate because maybe I didn't calculate correctly, then I am not exercising full integrity. I'm not doing it. I want to be a man of integrity. Let me give you a little closer on integrity. I've been working on my degree off and on since I graduated high school. Graduated high school whole lot of years ago, right? 25, 26 years ago. And I still don't have my degree. There's various reasons that are valid reasons I could give you on why I delayed, but I am not exercising integrity with myself. That isn't impacting anyone necessarily but me. And how many of you are able to exercise integrity with everybody but yourself? You hold yourself accountable to your word that you give to everyone concerning them, but you don't hold yourself accountable to the word that you give yourself. I'm going to lose some weight. That's me. I've been losing this weight for the last 10 years. That's an integrity issue. It's also a discipline issue because I'm not doing the things or sticking tight to the things that would help me remove the weight. And every time I say to myself, I'm going to do it, and I don't, I'm lying to me. I'm not having integrity with me. And here's why that's important. It's about, if I'm going to be a better husband, I have to be a better man. If I don't have integrity with me, and it is easy for me to break integrity with me, how easy do you think it is for me to break it with Tamika, with friends, with family? How easy? I have a nephew that's in prison, and I keep telling him, man, I'm gonna come see you. I ain't went to see him yet. I gotta stop saying that. I gotta go see him. Because if I'm gonna be a better husband, I have to be a better man. Hey, nephew, I'm gonna try and send you money every 2 weeks. Make sure you have a little bit of money on your books. And then he have to call me and remind me sometime. No, no, no. I need to set that up if I'm gonna be a man of integrity. Right? I cannot, I cannot, right, be a better husband if I'm not first a better man. It comes down to discipline. I'm looking at my finances and I'm like, man, I'm in such a great financial position, better than I ever been, but I can't see all the fruit. Why? Discipline, financial discipline. If I want to build legacy for myself and others, I have to be financially disciplined. If I'm going to be a better man, a better husband, I have to be a better man. So I want you to understand, like, there's some things that just don't matter if you're not the right person. It doesn't matter if you're doing the right thing because you're eventually going to ruin it. You're eventually going to ruin it. I see you, Lindaria. Do your thing, girl. Do your thing. Keep at it. I'm going to get on it. Absolutely. Listen, what you going to do? That's what I'm challenging me, but now I'm challenging you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to become a better person? What are you going to do? I don't care how much you get up and pray and read your word and speak in tongues and give your offerings and all of that. If you ain't out here challenging people for the kingdom's sake, yeah, we got to save souls, but we also got to challenge hypocrisy and things that are destroying the church. What you gonna do? I'm still upsetting the algorithm because I was built to upset stuff. I was built for it. Took me a while to. I'm a positive disruptor. They call me. That's what I'm built to do. What are you going to do to be a better person? So listen, if you have any questions, if you have any if you have any questions, you can feel free to drop them in there before I get up out of here. If you bold enough, you want to come on screen to ask a question, you can request to come on screen and we'll talk through your question and get an answer on it. Otherwise, I'm finna let you have it because at the end of the day, that's right, Mom, I'm built for it. I'm built for it. Oh, can I just go? Because I want to talk about relationships, but I want to talk about something else just a minute. It's relationship related, and it goes back because I know personally, I'm a spiritual mom, a covenant friend on here. It, here's a good question we have to ask ourselves. When I get back to that integrity, and I'm talking about how I'm trying to be a better man so that I can be a better husband. How many people in your spiritual circle do you know are not living up to the standard, but you don't say nothing to them? In love, you don't keep it real with them. You try and find a way not to hurt their feelings. while jeopardizing their soul? How many? And I ask this question because that's what I'm faced with in dealing with relationships. I'm not gonna sit around men and women who are not honoring their marriages and not say nothing to them. They get a little bit of chance, a little bit of time, and I don't always have relationship capital with these people. I'm gonna say something to you. I ain't even got to know you. I'm gonna say something to you. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen a lot. We keep praying about things that God has told us what already to do. If you want to cheat on your wife, you want to cheat on your husband, and you don't want to hear wise counsel, hey, you say I'm judging you, whatever. I got to cut you off. I'm good. When you ready to stand on business, we can stand on business. We can have that conversation. If you having a struggle, let's talk about that. I'm with you on that. Hey, you want to have you struggling, man? I'm having a struggle being faithful. Why are you having a struggle being faithful? I'm willing to have a productive conversation, but I will not have a bull crap conversation with you on it. Let me hit these highlights. I'm gonna let y'all go. If you're a relationship coach or counselor, don't get pimped. Don't let people manipulate you into helping them manipulate their spouse or their significant other. Don't do it. Oh, can I say this? If you're coaching, and I picked this up from Tim Ross, and it's something we're implementing. If you are coaching a couple that is not married, you should ask the question if they're having premarital sex. And if they are, they need to stop while they're under your coaching and tutelage because sex clouds judgment. And they can't really take the lesson the way they're supposed to take the lesson while they're still all in their feelings. Long as they still long as they still apologizing with bats and mitts, adults, you get that, then listen, they won't be able to actually learn to productively work through their issues because they'll continue to keep apologizing with bats and mitts or with money and gifts. Don't coach them, don't counsel them, let them be, because if they can't exercise enough discipline to get through your coaching and counseling and get to the altar, then their marriage is probably going to be in trouble in the first place. All right. So, pimping relationship coaches, don't pimp people, don't get pimped. Number two is asking the different question at the table and stop asking what you bring to the table and ask, how can you make me better? How can I make you better? That's the discussion you need to have. How can we make each other better? Screw the table, cut the table down, throw it in the fire pit. How can we make each other better? Number three, the hard question of value. If you're dating someone or you're already married, you really need to get to the intangible reasons of why you value that person, how that person adds value to your life beyond the things that can rust and corrode and fade away. And the last thing just wraps it all back up. I personally am on the journey of becoming a better man so I can be a better husband. And I challenge you to do the same. If you're single, make sure you are becoming the right person so that when you get the right person, you won't ruin the right thing. Okay? That's simple. Do the work. Do the work. There's no magic, there's no Jesus glitter for it. Do the work. All right? Listen, I'll see you here next Tuesday at 7 o'clock for the prompt. That's what it's called, the prompt with the relationship GPT. Don't forget to register. and see you in the building at Late Night Marriage with the Riches on December the 7th. We're going to open up doors at 6:30, 7 o'clock. We're going to kick off with the recording and discussions. This is going to be a lively event. We probably have about 10 seats less. Make sure that you get registered. Once we run out of seats, you'll go on the wait list and we'll hit you up if a slot opens up. So we're looking forward to you joining us. We can't wait. We're excited. And listen, till next time, let's upset the algorithm together. Let's upset the relationship algorithm together. Love you guys for real. We're going to do this thing. We're going to get these relationships healthy. To next video. Oh, how to register, how to register. Go to, oh my goodness. Hold on, friend. Hold on, hold on. I think it's Late Night Marriage. Let me double check. Uh-oh. I got to see. Hold on, friend. Where is my thing? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's latenightmarriage.com should get you there to register. If it don't, friend, I will send you a link to yeah, if you go to latenightmarriage.com, it'll take you to the registration page to register. Latenightmarriage.com will take you to the page to register. So I just double checked that. But we hope to see you in the building. It's singles, divorcees, married people, dating people. Everybody want to come out and get into that conversation. And we're looking forward to you. I'll see you next week on the prompt. God bless.